Good evening, everybody. Saturday, March 26th, 2016, 9:05 p.m. Eastern New York time. Hi, everybody. Hope you had a good week last week. It was kind of a quiet week in the market, which was not unexpected given that it's Easter week. And especially after Wednesday, liquidity really dried up, and we see the market really kind of turn sideways. And especially Thursday and Friday. And there wasn't really a lot of fundamentals to push things. So kind of a quiet week. So things didn't really change all that much. And but I do want to wish you a happy Easter if you happen to be Christian and celebrate that. Um, besides Christmas, probably the most important day on the Christian calendar. So wherever you are, if you're celebrating it, happy Easter. I will be spending it tomorrow with some of my family, so I'm looking forward to getting together as always. Um, so looking into next week, volatility should pick back up again. However, it probably or may not pick up really until Tuesday because Monday is a holiday. It's a market holiday for pretty much the Aussie, Kiwi, Euro, and the pound. So the Asian session on Monday or Sunday night, where I am, and also the London session on Monday, is probably not going to do much. So we probably won't see much happen until the New York session on Monday, and even then, because London will be closed, things will probably be quiet. And Mondays typically are quiet, anyways. Now there is some U.S. news on Monday. This PCE, which on Forex Factory shows as orange, but for those of you that watch John Kicklighter, he shows this as a red because this is an important Fed measure, and they're expecting a slight decrease. But again, since London's going to be closed, I don't know if this is going to really do much. So unless it's wildly out of line, so really probably going to have to wait till Tuesday before things start to pick back up again, and all the markets are back online. So, but we'll talk about that. So, um, so hopefully, like I said, next week should pick up. And of course, next week, the big event will be on Friday, as always, the first Friday in the month. Non-farm payrolls and average hourly earnings and unemployment. So this really will be the big dog for the week on Friday. So come Thursday, late Thursday, I will certainly be reviewing all the dollar pairs and trying to make some guesses on based on the patterns on Thursday for the dollar pairs and dollar crosses. Um, if I had to make a guess based on what they are right now on Saturday, I would say it's going to be negative for the dollar, but who knows? They are expecting a drop in the employment number, so this is bearish, but they're expecting average hourly earnings to go up, and this is positive, quite positive. And the unemployment rate is expected to stay the same. So we'll have to see. Obviously it's too early to know, but certainly are some patterns that suggest that should be negative for the dollar. So we'll just jump into this. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on every pair because some of them are not very clear, but I will at least probably touch on all of them for a moment. So let's start with the euro pairs, and a lot of these are the same, other than the euro kiwi, which looks a little different. But for the rest of these, so this is euro Aussie, and by the way, this buy trade here, this is my demo account. In order to keep the broker from closing my demo account, once in a while I just take a trade on my demo account just to keep it alive. At least once a month, I'll just take a trade. I did take a long here. It's like I said, it's completely insignificant because it's a demo account, as you can see. But I actually am long this on my live account too. So for all these euro pairs, again, so here we are on the 6-hour chart, and you can clearly see we've had the enormous downtrend that went on for a long time, and then we had that big spike up a couple of weeks back. And originally I was thinking that this would be, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up. But considering how long this correction has gone on, and this is the same on some of the other euro pairs, I'm thinking this is probably an ABC pattern, which would make sense because after a long downtrend, you have a correction to the upside. So rather than a major turning point, I think it's probably more likely this is an ABC pattern because proportionally this is way too big to be a wave 2. It's just completely out of proportion. if it had ended right here and then shot back up, maybe. But considering this dragged on for so long, I mean, if you just look at the candles, now this 3-hour chart, this was, only a couple of candles to make that high versus, you know, 67 candles on this correction. So clearly out of proportion. Okay, so here was wave A and B, and now this is potentially in wave C. Now we've broken out above this downtrend line, and we've gone up, and we've come back to retest it, and now it looks like it's forming a bottom here, ready to go back up. Now, if that's the case, even though this is a C, it's probably got about 600 pips of upside potential if it's equivalent with wave A, and so going to go up to probably around the 153 area on this pair. So I'm looking for longs on pullbacks, and like I said, if this is a C, the only difference is that once the C ends, we should look for the downtrend to continue rather than this being a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and a new uptrend. But still, with being a C, has significant upside potential. So I'll be looking for longs for myself on this pair. Euro Canadian, exact same thing. Here it's zoomed in on the 2-hour chart. Again, I am long on this pair now as well. Looks like we broke out here. This may be the beginning of wave C, and we've gone up. Now we'll probably retrace down a little bit and then hopefully go back up. And again, pretty much the same potential based on this. Looks just like the Euro Aussie. Euro dollar, same thing. This wave A is a little bit more pronounced, but certainly I still think this would qualify as an A and then a B, and we're possibly breaking out for C. Now again, non-farm payrolls will have a lot to do with this, and this is one of the reasons why I think the dollar news will be negative because of this, and that it will cause us to shoot up. Now, if the dollar news comes out positive, then this correction could continue down a while longer before it goes up for C. But again, same situation. Euro Kiwi, this is the one that looks a little different. This looks like probably the end of an A, and then we've got potentially a B wave here that's not done. This may be, so here's your A, and then here's A, B, C of B. I only have, so what I have marked off here is the wave, is basically the beginning of the wave B. So this one's a little less clear, but I think this one's probably going to go down again before it goes up again for the waves, for the larger wave C based off this. And that would make sense because I'm bullish right now on the Kiwi. And so since this is the Euro Kiwi, this should go down. So this one is basically, I think, is just behind the other Euro pairs, but I think eventually it will go back up, but not right now. I am expecting this to go down, but we'll see. It's not as clear. And I'm currently not trading this pair. I'm just going to kind of watch it and see if we get any obvious strong move to the downside, then I might consider a short. So Euro Yen, again, pretty much the same as the other Euro pairs. Overall an A, and then this big B up here for this, and then C up. And again, it looks like maybe we've broken out of this downside move, and we're going to move back up. And I actually am long this pair right now. So again, same thing, expecting upside potential as a wave C. The Kiwi, again, it's long the Kiwi. Now, if we go out a little bit here, so we'll stick to like the 8 or the 12-hour chart here. This looks to me to be an ABC pattern forming here. We have A up, B down, expect C up on this pair. Now, of course, and the reason why I think it's an ABC because we had this long downtrend that ended back here in the last summer, and we've kind of just been moving sideways here. And so I think this will be another move up, and I think eventually this downtrend will continue. But I think it's going to bounce around for a while, and I do think that this is an A, this is a B, and we'll probably go up for C here at some point, which again would make sense based on the Euro Kiwi projecting that to go down. So I don't know if I'll really be trading this. I'll keep an eye on it, but if there's any positive breakout, I mean, this is clearly corrective. I mean, again, if you look at candles, 15 candles to the upside, and now this correction's already on 70 candles down. So clearly out of proportion to be a 2. So, or even to be an end of trend in the correction. So I think this is probably a B, and then we'll go up for C. Aussie dollar, kind of the same way. This is the weekly chart, so zoomed way out. We had the end of a trend here. We've moved back up, and I am expecting to see this little downtrend to finish somewhere around here, and then this to go back up. And that would likely finish probably a wave 5 of A. So this move up here on the weekly is probably an A, then we'll have B, and then we'll C. And I'd say, based on Elliott, probably we'll see, this market eventually come back to about here before it sells off. Now this is a weekly chart, so I mean that is 550 pips. So probably got some good upside potential on the Aussie. Again, suggestive that the dollar may fall. So we may see this drift down, then bounce back up here. So that's it for the Aussie. Aussie Canadian. The daily looks to be in a wave C up. So I'm looking at this as this was an A, and then this was an A, this is a B, and then we'll go up for C. And I'm sorry, this is really a mess because I was labeling it on the lower time frames too. But this really is not one of my better pairs to trade. But clearly back here, let me see if I can find it. We had a turning point right here, and I'm still thinking that this is a correction to a downtrend. Okay, so, but we did have this turning point where the market went up pretty strong here, ABC, and now we're potentially going to go back up here. So I am looking for longs on the Aussie Canadian, but it's got to be clear. Right now, it's a mess. It's not really. I actually never used to trade this pair because it's a very wicky pair. If you see, I don't know, it's not really a word, I know, but if you look at these candles, look at the wicks. This pair more than any other has lots of wicks, and it's almost worth looking at it on a line chart, or a bar chart instead of candles, because it's very wicky and it makes it hard to look at. So, but that's me. But again, I am expecting that this will go back up for a while and then eventually turn back down again. So looking for longs there. Aussie yen, the monthly, go way out to the monthly here. This looks to be wave C down. So we had 1, 2, 3 for A, 1, 2, 3 for B, and now we're heading down for C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I think long term the Aussie yen is going to fall, but in the short term I think we have more upside potential here. Okay, so so I like the other Aussie pairs, I think this probably has potential to go up more, but the long term is down. But there's no clear real pattern on this right now. This looks like probably on the 1 hour chart we had a trend end here, and now we're going back up. This might be an A, B, C on the 1 hour. Potentially, this is an A, B, maybe a C up right here. So it's choppy. It's kind of moving sideways right now. The further you go out here, you can see this just sideways action on the 12-hour chart. So not real clear. I think, like I said, in the short term we'll go up again, but over the long term, I think this pair will go down again, as all the other Aussie pairs will too at some point. But again, not real clear right now. U.S. yen, we had that triangle that I talked about last week, and that actually worked out quite well. This was about a 350 pip. Like I said, when it breaks out of a triangle, the target, if you want to set a target, usually if you measure the widest part of the triangle, so from here to here, is usually a good downside target. So that's about 350 pips. So if we figure this was the breakout point right here, and we measure it down to here, it's 350 pips. So, I mean, it worked out really well. And now clearly this is in a correction. And this looks like to be an ABC. And I think this will probably continue to drift higher. And again, if the news on Friday is not good for the dollar, at that point we might be up here somewhere, maybe come up and retest this trend line as resistance and then fall. Okay, so I'm not going to be looking to trade this pair. probably until the end of the week if I do, because I think it's just going to drift around for a while. But it's clearly in a correction. CCI suggests it's in a correction, and it will come back down. So U.S. Canadian, pretty much the same story. Here we are. This is the 12-hour chart. Whoops, I hate when it does that. We had this move down, and then this trend looks like it's ended now, and we're heading up in a corrective mode. Whoops, don't want to do that. Sorry. Okay, and much like the U.S. yen, I think this is probably going to continue to drift as the week goes on. We may come back perhaps to maybe to this area here, and then look to come back down again. So potentially with non-farm payroll around this area. So that's U.S. Canadian. Okay, U.S. Swiss. This one's interesting. So here we are on the weekly chart, and this one you got to really stretch yourself to look at. But so here's the weekly chart, and I zoomed out, and this looks to be, to me, this is an A, B, and now this is a C going up, and this is a triangle right here, and triangles always happen in the final position. So either in wave B of a C, so the C of C would be the last position. So or in wave 4 of an impulse wave. So here's A, B, and then we got wave C from right here, and this is wave A, wave B, and wave C of this C. So, and this is a triangle. So, and I'm sorry for all this garbage, because again, I was labeling it on the smaller time frame. So if that's the case, then again, going down to the 1 hour, this is clearly corrective. And then again, expect with non-farm payroll, this will drift higher. Maybe we'll get up to the 61 and then fall off. But going back out here to the daily and the weekly, while we might see, well, I have this label as a wave 4 on the 1 hour chart. And let me slide this wave 5 over here. This will probably be somewhere over here before it goes down and up to the 68 Fibonacci. So let me just get rid of this Fibbo. So this is going to probably fall off again, and that's a nice little move. But I think long term, and here it is right here on the 12-hour, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we'll see a correction up. But I think this has enormous downside potential. Even if we only come back down to, say, to this low, this is hundreds, if not, near 1,000 pips. So I think the initial target would be back down at these lows, which is about 600 pips, and lower. So, but again, this is a weekly chart, so just keep in mind that it's not going to happen all at once. And these retracements back to the upside, could be hundreds of pips too. So, but I think the longer term chart suggests a very significant drop in the U.S. Swiss. In the short term, I expect a drop here, again, possibly non-farm payroll this week. So let's say it makes it back to here. Even if we retag these lows, that's 170 pips back down, so not bad. Let me see. Back into the pound pairs. Again, zoom out a little bit here. So, I think this is probably the end of a trend on the pound, and we're going to be correcting to the upside here. And again, with non-farm payroll, if it's negative, that we may see this move to the upside. We had a trend right here. This is an obvious trend right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, almost textbook. Now we've retraced pretty much 100% of it, and I think we're probably going to go back up. So, so this could be either. So I have this labeled as an A, B, and then this is C. This would be wave 1, wave 2, and then up. So a significant upside potential on the pound dollar. Again, not one of my favorite pairs to trade, but again, based on non-farm payroll, I expect this probably to move choppy most of the week and then eventually move back up for a wave C. Pound Kiwi, again, so on this pair, this looks to be in a triangle itself here. We had maybe an A, B, C, D, E, and then expecting this to go back down. So let me see here. I don't know how clear this is. You know, so this could be a potential for a wave 4 breakout. I mean, excuse me, a wave 5 breakout to the downside. So if this is a triangle, and I don't know, but it sure looks like one right now. So the thrust on this is a 740 pip width triangle. So let's say this is, and we're heading into wave E, the final thrust of this triangle up and then back down. And again, with the Kiwi rallying, being bullish on the Kiwi does suggest that this will go back down. Okay, if the Kiwi goes up, this pair will go down. So 700 pips, 740 pips here will take us, you know, down to around the 205 area. So look for this to continue to consolidate inside this triangle. I expect it's going to tag this and then move back to the upside. I'm not going to be looking to trade it. I'm just going to let it ride. I mean, that's 240 pips, but I'm just given that it's a wave E. If this is a triangle, this is a wave E. It may not even make it all the way back up and then turn back down. So I'm just going to keep an eye on this. I'll be watching probably the 6-hour chart or so for a completion of this triangle to the downside. So that's pound Kiwi. And for the pound Swiss, let's see. Trying to look at my own notes here. So yeah, again, this is probably was the end of the trend. So I have this probably labeled incorrectly. I think this was probably the last little leg of the trend, and there were probably in saying, you know, an A, B, and maybe a C here. So I think the pound Swiss will correct. It's not really clear. You see what happened here when the market closed on Friday. If we can get an update here. Right at the close, we have this big spike down. I don't know what this was about, but I think this probably will reverse and go back up. So, but I think this is an ABC, and we will go back to the upside here on this pair before it continues down. I think long term it's going down, but for now I think it's in a correction to the upside. We had a pretty significant fall last week. So, okay, same thing on pound Aussie. We had this this looks corrective inside these lines. Up for A, down, up, back up for B. And based on the length of this wave A, being about 250 pips, if this was the end of B, then 250 pips will take us up to around the 190 area before we fall back off. So pound Aussie potentially in a wave C up before we correct down. And same thing pretty much. Pound Canadian, not as clear, but again, I think this probably will go up more on this corrective move before we continue the downtrend. Whether this is A, B, and we're going up for C here. This one's not quite as clear. Not one of my favorite pairs to trade, but I will watch it for when this correction ends. But the bottom line is it's in a correction, and I do think it will eventually come back down. But we could see this recover back up to this area here. You know, probably around the 190 area before we see this come back down again. So pound yen, same thing. I believe this is probably going to go up. We had wave A here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3 for B, and probably go up for C now. So yeah, I might be looking for longs in this. This is a nice, pretty volatile pair. So if it's clear, I'd be looking for longs here in the pound yen to the upside for wave C before it comes back down. And I mean, if that's what it is, I mean, this is 800. Wave A was 890 pips. So let's say this is the end of B, and I don't know if it is, but let's say it is. 890 pips takes us up to the 167 area or so. Okay, so we'll see, but that's what I'm looking for, potentially for longs on that pair. So that's it for the pairs. As far as news, you know, we do have some yen news. So for the yen crosses, pound yen, euro yen, in particular, again, looking for upside moves on those. You know, if these come out, they're expecting a little bit better on household spending and retail sales. If these disappoint, then that could be catalyst. They show these as orange levels, so, you know, medium importance. So I don't know how much they'll move, but this is Monday night also. And so the market might be quiet. So I don't know if really that will be the catalyst. Starting Tuesday, we kind of get back into full action here. M3 money supply, they're not expecting any change for the euro. So unless this has a deviance, probably won't do anything. Consumer confidence and Janet Yellen Tuesday morning. These, of course, have potential to move. But again, given that non-farm payroll is coming out at the end of the week, I'm not sure if these will really move unless there's something really deviant that comes out of this. This is way out of whack, or if Yellen says something really bizarre. So this non-farm payroll for the dollar, again, they have this as red. It hardly ever moves because you got the real one coming on Friday. Crude oil inventories could. So again, but I just don't think with non-farm payroll, most of these would probably only have short-term effect. If anything, the market's really going to hold its breath for Friday. So do have some euro news again on Thursday, and German retail sales are looking for a drop. Spanish CPI, they're looking for a slight improvement. So again, these are orange level. It's probably not going to take much though to push the euro higher because the news has been so bad. You have German unemployment. They're expecting an increase. This is a positive number, going from minus 10,000 to minus 5,000. So if that turns out to be a little better than expected, then again, that will push the euro higher. I think the euro, again, is looking for any reason to rally because it's been hurt for so long. Pound, current account. This is, a red level one. Now they're expecting a bad number here. So these could potentially end those corrections that we talked about on the pound pairs and send it down. And you also have GDP coming out, final GDP, which is not important as the estimate one. But again, look for potentially Thursday morning to see the end of the, possibly a catalyst for the end of the correction on the pound pairs. You have Euro CPI, again, expecting some improvement, very slight, but yet some improvement. So again, anything positive will push the euro higher. Canadian GDP, the CAD pairs are not really my favorite ones right now. But again, depending how this comes out, this could push, say, the euro Canadian higher. So unemployment claims for the dollar. Again, not expecting this is going to do much because, again, of non-farm payroll on Friday. And they're not really expecting a big shift in this anyways. Sorry about my dog there, guys. Thursday night, you got some Chinese news coming out. So, Cakeson and manufacturing PMI out of China. And you really never know what to expect with these because the Chinese government kind of controls these numbers. But they are expecting a slight increase on these. And obviously, this can affect the Asian pairs. So we'll see if what happens. If these come out worse than expected, then again, this could push the Aussie and the Kiwi higher. But we'll see. Again, Friday, more Euro news, GBP news. Again, we'll have to see where these pairs are at that point. And then, of course, the big one is non-farm payroll. And this ISM manufacturing probably won't really have much effect because everybody will be looking at this. So, and we do have a couple of Fed speakers, but again, this is the big dog this week. So anyway, so that's a look at the news and what it might potentially be doing. So I hope that helps, guys. Again, as always, do not take any trades based on anything I said. It's strictly my opinion, my analysis, and what I'm seeing. But look forward to your input, and feel free to comment too on the YouTube page if you so choose. It is getting more views. I'm assuming that's everybody just in our trading room, but I don't know. It doesn't tell me obviously who's watching. So, but I hope you guys enjoy it, and I hope you have a good rest of the weekend. And again, happy Easter if that applies, and we will talk to you all soon.